Miten tulee tämä Aton runo? Aton, you're coming to the States.
Yes.
Pippuri. Häpeä. Miten kypsensipä tämän niin, että se jäi kypsymättä? Ehkä joku viisas laittoi sen aurinkoon, eikä tulelle. Jos olisimme tienneet aiemmin, asiat eivät olisi näin huonosti. Musta on kaunista, ei epäilystäkään. Vahva keitos, voimakas aikojen alusta. Mustan Afrikan maalta, auringon vallan alta on lähtöisin viisauden tuli. Me olemme mustia, me olemme rohkeita. Kuitenkin simpukko, joka kuuluu veteen, makaa kaukana siitä myrskyisten kyynelten hakkaamana. Miten näin kävi? Jos meillä vain olisi jokin turvapaikka, joku ivinen pelastaja, jolle valittaa. Joku, joka vapauttaisi meidät näiden valehtelijoiden käsistä, pelastaisi kultamme, timanttimme ja kaikki mineraalimme ja auttaisi meitä laulamaan. Häpeä. Sinun sietäisi hävetä, valkoihoinen. Luulet, että Jumala jätti meidät sinun valtaasi. Sylje koko totuus, älä vain palasta siitä. Se, mikä on kätketty, paljastuu todellisessa valaistumisessa. Pelasta meidät, Isä puu, äiti maa. He tappavat meidät ja väittävät meidän valehtelevan. Pippuri polttaa alistetut.
Be ashamed. How did we cook it still uncooked? Perhaps a wise person put it in the sun rather than on fire. Had we known earlier, it wouldn't be this horrendous. Black is beautiful. No doubt, a potent brew, powerful since the dawn of time, in the black African land under the sun's dominion. Came fire from our wisdom. Black we are, brave we are. Yet the muscle who made its water lies distant from it, battered to stormy tears. How? If only we had some refuge, some savior of stones to wail to save us from the hands of these liars. Save our gold, diamonds, all our minerals, and help us do a little singing. Shame, be ashamed, white human. You think God left us in your charge? Spit the whole truth, not a bite of it. What's hidden will be exposed for true enlightenment. Save us, Tree Father, Earth Mother. They kill us and claim we're lying. Pepe, Pepper burns the oppressed.
I'm happy I performed the Finnish translation before your performance because I don't think I could have anything like that. But it forces me to ask, what do you think was the relationship of oral and written literature, especially in poetry, and also like music, theater, and poetry?
Well, in context, in Africa, everywhere in Africa actually, our stories, our language, everything has been passed down orally. And it is passed down not like in an official documentation. Like we are documenting our history, we are documenting what is real to us, but it is passed down in an almost entertaining way, performative way. So even the poetry in itself is theater. So there is only a distinction when you see the performance or the poetry in text, which is quite pretty recent, I mean, during or after colonialism. But before that, all our poetry is documented orally, and it is done to perform, to share with your children at home. And it takes different forms, lullabies. What the griot says to his audience when he's performing, these are all forms of poetry that we see as a daily activity. And so it encompasses every aspect of our art, but generally we don't see it as art. And I think I was speaking to one of the directors of the National Theatre in Ghana, and this question came out about why people don't patronize the theatre. And one thing he said to me, which I thought was quite striking, was that, well, we are in Ghana. Theatre is our daily life. So people don't really see the need for it, but it is essential to Africa's growth and also it has shaped the world or Africa specifically in terms of what we've had to deal with and how we now approach our own language. And although there is still influence, we're trying to appease to the masses by changing the language to suit a larger audience. There is still authentic African poetry that you will find in theater and also in cultural and traditional places, and that take the form of the rich metaphorical language and how Africans see ourselves with pride.
Yeah, I'm always very impressed when I read or see other African poets writing and performing in African languages.
Yeah.
So do you find it's common in Ghana? Or?
In Ghana, it's not quite. I mean, there are a few artists who do it, but it's not very common because also I live in the center, Accra, which is the capital, and more people are prone to speaking English, writing in English. But occasionally you meet people who embody the Pan-African essence and also the need to go back to the roots. And so there are a few people who champion the causes, but it's not as common. And even when they do it, they tend to do it for academic reasons or do it only for performative reasons. But you won't generally find like let's say you have a Finnish publication here where they publish in Finnish language or Swedish language. It's possible in Ghana, but it's also very niche and rare. Yeah, but there are people who still champion the cause of the need to use our languages. Yeah.
I was thinking about the relationship of like emotions and poetry, because for me it feels like even if I'm not African, for me there's so much anger like towards the people who call us African, because we created all the problems and now can ignore them. So I don't know, what do you feel? I have this sense that maybe that's why poetry is, it's one of the reasons why poetry is so powerful in many African countries, because it's a field where it's somehow not so neutral. It's like, well, in research we can show what was made, all the problems that we created, but in poetry you can somehow like, I don't know, express more.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think the one with the bad end of the stick when it comes to trauma often has a lot to say and a lot more to say emotionally. And for me, the anger is good because the way people understand art is through emotion. And for me, language always comes second because I can be here and still enjoy a finished performance although I don't understand anything. What is making me enjoy or sit through it is the emotion, is being able to connect. And African anger, it is justified. And when it reaches audiences, whom especially will think of it as an affront, I think that is the space that it needs to be, because then it challenges people's emotions and then they begin to question. That is if they don't draw back. But luckily today, it seems everyone is good job.
When I translated African poetry for the first anthology, from poetry in this translation, I was kind of shocked to find out how many poets had actually been sitting in jail, even started writing.
Yes.
Do you think, I don't know about the current situation actually so much, so do you know if it still happens?
Recently, well, not, it's still recently, this poet, She's from Uganda. Do you remember the Ugandan writer's name? I've forgotten. I've forgotten her name, but she is a prolific writer, a poet, and she also happens to do queer activism in Uganda. And she's been ostracized so much, incarcerated. And I remember her boldly baring her breast to the judge, and it was televised live. And this is something that you think, oh, it's in the past, these things don't happen anymore. But in Africa, everything is possible. If you decide to go against the grain, everything can be used against you. So this is not verifying history. And is there a possibility that it could happen in certain places? It definitely can. It depends on whose leg you step on.
Although at the same time, I think it speaks about the power of poetry.
Exactly, which is interesting. I wonder, have there been instances here?
Not really. I think in Finland, I can't imagine anything European public and like, in the past there are some cases, but no one went to jail after some legal discussions. And at the moment, I think it's actually quite sad that I don't think anyone could write anything or perform anything so powerful. People usually think like, oh, poets, like it's very marginalized. They're just weird if someone says something.
But would you say poetry is losing its power then?
Well, unfortunately, I think we are in such a margin.
Because I can also see how poetry can lose its power, but it all depends on what the geoculture is. Because as much as people can get in trouble for poetry, I don't see anyone getting, I don't even want to touch on the subject, but it's more prone in certain areas than certain areas. And all of that will depend on the level of technological advancements that has gone on in these areas. So in areas where there isn't much technology or people don't have enough access to technology, they listen to a lot of their influencers more. I mean, their local influencers. But in places like Ghana, where the internet is on 24/7, everybody has access, at least most of the country has access to concentrate on different things, it is easy for popular media to sway people's mind from real issues that art tackles. So in areas where there is a lack of accessibility to information, where you're restricted to what is popular in your locality, then you can really see the impact of art and poetry. But in areas where it's more global and socialized and internet connected, poetry or art loses its power, not just its power, but also its value. Because it becomes cheapened, you have access to a lot of things that you can choose from. And people in general tend to go towards what makes them happy, not what makes them think critically.
Or they go to what that feels easy.
Yes, yes, yeah. But yeah.
And so what kind of feedback do you get from your readers or listeners in Ghana?
In Ghana, I'm mostly working for people because it's I'm multidisciplinary, and that already sets me up for advantage, disadvantage. So I'm mostly rotating through different mediums of art. So I'm never stationed in one. But every time I have performed poetry, and this is something my friend really hates, people say they snap their fingers and they say deep. And then the conversation ends there. That's it. They only come to watch your poetry show, see how intellectual you are, see how you play with the words, and how they can vibe with it, and then they snap their fingers and they say deep, and then that's it. Which really annoys me, because one of my artist missions is to make sure that art is there for positive activism. And when I don't see that, my poetry is pushing people to at least have conversations, then what am I doing? So I'm always trying to navigate away from talking to people, but somehow I keep getting drawn back here. Aika, thank you. Because I haven't done poetry in a long time. Tanya, thank you as well for bringing me back to the scene. And it's nice to be able to share and discuss poetry.
Yeah, one thing that is not about African poetry, but what we Finns are always very eager to hear. What do you think about Finland? How do you find Finland?
Oh my God. I think I will always say this. Finland kind of reminds me of home in a very obscure way. Because the same conservativeness that I'm running away from, I kind of keep meeting in different places. Helsinki is a bit okay, but there is still this air of, oh, we don't talk about these things. Oh, we don't do that. And these people are different and those people are different. And it's so thick in the air, but it's also not very overt. And this has been my dealings in Ghana, because Ghana is not one of the extreme. I mean, recently it has become extremist, but in the past, you can feel the atmosphere is weird. I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, I have to tell one funny thing as well, or maybe you don't find it. I mean, you don't know this person I'm talking about, but today I was thinking like, I want to find something very recent, and also like, what if you Google Ghanaian poetry, like if it is, like what comes up? Just curious. So I did that, and actually I didn't get so many results, like 5 maybe.
Oh God.
And most of them didn't actually read Ghana. But the most hilarious was, really, I Googled Ghanaian poetry and I got, what kind of, read the poem Vesa Keskinen wrote for his Ghanaian model girlfriend. it was actually, I did read the poem, and it was very interesting. There was actually some link to some very old Ghanaian poetry that I read.
Yeah.
Sea and love,
They are always referencing old poetry. I think one thing Ghana media does really well is shut serious issues out. They'll do anything so that nobody hears, like the real conversations that are happening in the art scene. And if you look at our film industries, it's the same thing. The people doing the real work, they don't get credit for it. They get shunned out of business. They only put people who can do commercial stuff and do it really fast and do it really cheap. And if you're tackling any issue that is political, socio-political, or what they will term culturally subversive, they don't want to deal with that.
I think maybe in many African cultures, maybe because it can be quite dangerous to be very open.
Yeah.
So I think people have a really, maybe they have made very fine skill of like writing poetry that is kind of,
subtle,
subtle seems like very maybe, like love poetry or something, and then it's very poetic.
I think a lot of poems write like that, in that style, especially in Ghana. But when you come to the art scene and like go to poetry events, that is where you get to see the beautiful mind of the Ghanaian poets. And there are like incredible Ghanaian poets. You will just not find them on websites. Also, they don't really do a good job with social media. It's like artists have an aversion to social media in general, but if the government is trying to silence you, you have to use every means. And so this is an advice to everyone. Please don't shy away from social media. Use it to our advantage because we need those voices.
Also, in order to be accessible, like it's quite sad if you Google Ghanaian boyfriend, you don't get personal you. But I'm very happy to have hidden gem here and let's listen to your poetry.
Thank you. Thank you. Don't put a label on that box. I said, don't put a label on that box. I am tired of navigating. Life is tired of living, and the truth is annoyed at hearing forgive me, as fleeting as every emotion, because every one of them is emotion except a constant view, a constant bad view. That's why I can't say I'm happy. Are you happy? For now, I'm feeling happy. Feeling to recognize that it's a state. It takes something to get there, and when that visa expires, you have to move to Don't we all want a green card to happiness? Really? Why do we need permission for happiness? At what expense? This moronic capitalistic world, everything is so expensive. Even the superficial happiness, superficial nonsenses. And yet, the true happiness, the one that makes an individual whole enough to make a home, whole enough to make a family that makes community that makes the world peace, so vivid. Only we are aware it is attainable through science. Leave silence for me. Come on, you know who I am. That's why I said don't put a label on that box. I know what happiness means to me. It means freedom. But I'm reminded that I will never be allowed to have it. But see, I haven't chosen silence. I'm speaking to you. I need freedom. You need justice for why it's hard, for why everything is so expensive, even an honest smile. Our histories chose violence to attain happiness, to destabilize tyranny and oppression and conquer the fear of happiness. So come on, who wants to go there with me? The state of constant happiness. It only takes madmen. Are you hungry enough? Come on. Come on! Vile people only understand violence. What is an African house without flies? Yes, we have shitted all over our bodies. A mural of deep cuts and pus-filled hemorrhoids, oozing blood in splatters, leaking semen like squatters. Yes. White bone, my house is your house. Welcome. What is an African house without flies? Yes. The mangoes like human babies, exploding maggots from yellow to brown, the internal pressure of neglect, waiting for who to eat them. Yes. Scavengers. My house is your house. Welcome. What is an African house without flies? Aha. A farmer's market with leeches as buyers, or maybe mosquitoes as sellers. Either one is here to milk, if not phlebotomize. These dry bones, drier than Mona Lisa. Yes. Passive skilled blood suckers. My house is your house. Take it. Make me thinner than the hallowed lies you believe. It is your privilege, much to my chagrin. It is I who has left no fencing around the four corners of my body. And when the pale cattle grazed by, they latched onto the blotches of imported black roses and trampled them to ash. Show me. Show me where in this mural that I asked the dove-faced herdsman to chase and hack me with his gun. But he did. Haven't you? Now, this one I wrote by listening to the conversations of tonight. Something about the language. Love it. Finish. You sound like a villager. Just like me. Those consonants slap like aggressive ass cheeks. And your vowels pointed like an Ethiopian's nose slashing the dusty, dry Sahara. Double pointed, rustling beads of a Dipoyu doing her dance to full womanhood. And what are these long words that should be sentences? Lavaruno ilijoidin palautetiopaya. And you think is too leaky thatch roof a name for you? The difference between clay and cabin is that I feel too guilty to mow down trees to live on borrowed breath. Or is it the frequent absence of the sun which you so desperately crave in your icy huts? Just listen. If you don't believe me, hear your words. You are a villager with white skin. And if it means anything other than endearment, then as they say in South Africa, uzenzile. The way you look at me The way you hear me speak my words and think, the grass-wearing people are here again. It's like they are everywhere. They are taking over. And they don't even bother to learn my suit and tie-wearing language. In my village, the stranger gets the best meat in the soup, served with giggles and dilated pupils. Oh, stranger, he's white. Oh, stranger, he speaks words like my neighbors from the north, but even they don't understand. Oh, stay, stranger, stay. Oh, stay. You are leaving? Stay. Look at me. One more time in askance. I'm a villager. I am a villager. You are the villager. Thank you.
Thank you, Oteanankanduro. You will get your rose later. Oh, it's there. Okay, afterwards. Kiitos kaikille tästä päivästä. Tämä on ollut hurja päivä, esityksiä ja jäämme nyt niitä sulottelemaan. Mä haluan kiittää Elsa Tölliä, Tanja Neithania, Tommi Parkkoa, Mari Laaksosta, Maria Iskiä, Heikki Haakmania, Katriina Rannetta ja Ata Hasfordia, a.k.a. Oteanankanduro. Thank you. Antaa aplodit kaikille meidän illan esiintyjille. Tulee virallinen sponsoriosuus, eli haluan kiittää myös Taiteen edistämiskeskusta ja Lahden kaupunkia tämän koko tapahtuman mahdollistamisesta. Me Akan kanssa tehdään tätä koko vuosi ja nyt se kiteytyy tähän näihin hienoihin iltoihin täällä Lahdessa. Kukkakaupat, Kukka-Pia ja Kukkakauppa Neilikka, jotka jakaa meille hävikukkia, Lille Santanen, Graafisen ilmeen toteuttaja, Auli Kokkonen, meidän sote-vastaava valokuvaaja, Ville-Petteri Kujala ja Markus Kuoppala, Joni Kallio, suuret aplodit Jonille, teknikolle, teknikolle, Markus Roderus, joka on tehnyt meidän lakanat ja taideteokset, Sirpa Lindström, joka tuli juuri koulusta. Kahviosta ja ja kaikki, jotka ovat toteuttamassa tätä festivaalia eilen, tänään, huomenna ja sunnuntaina ja muina päivinä. Kiitos, hyvää yötä ja nähdään huomenna. Kaikki ohjelmat löytyy sieltä www.runomaraton.fi. Kiitos.
Sorry. After you, I need to take my camera. Thank you so much. Oh, this camera is so disgraceful. I need to return it. I was, I think, taking it in chunks. I don't know if after every 1 minute. Horrible.
That's not good.
If it even recorded.
Ato, do you want to eat something with us? Or?
Yes, I would love to.
We need to see Dinosaurs. If not, then we have to go to the city center.
We have the local experts.
I have.
Thank you, people.
Thank you.
I'm so sorry. I took all the time.
Oh, it's not a problem. That it was my pronunciation, and then when I said 50.